my daughter said, Mom, you should go to the gym like I do. We didn't want to really get into exercise like this.
Had you ever considered weights before?
Weights were for strong men.
To go into a gym, it's intimidating to see all these young kids. It takes a lot of strength to be able to do that. And this is for you're never too old to lift, and it's the truth. You just have to keep at it, taking small steps and keep progressing. Never give up. That's my message. Never give up.
I remember one day there was one exercise. I was so proud of myself when I did it. I just couldn't wait to tell everybody I did it.
Congratulate yourself. You did it. And you got through this class. You can do it again. My son, he calls me every day and he says, Mom, I'm so glad you're going.
So today I am lucky enough to have not one but two guests with me, and a few weeks ago we had Betsy on, who works at UB Stronger, and she gave us a great episode about how she programs her classes, and I asked her at the end if there was anyone that she could recommend, and she automatically told me about Linda and Mary. So I want to thank you both for coming on. And as always with these interviews, I thought I'd get started a little bit with what your history is with exercise. Have you always been, both of you, quite active and had much of a relationship with the gym, or is this all quite new to you? So let's start with you, Linda.
Well, I've been active, but not at the gym. This is, I've, attempted things. Nothing ever lasted any more than 2 or 3 months. The gym just was not my thing.
And what kind of activities were you doing then?
I had 5 kids, so
Wow.
yes, that kept me busy. As far as the gym, I would just go and start some kind of a class that I never finished. My excuse was I never had time, but it was just an excuse.
I don't know, 5 children. I struggle enough with one child at the time, half the time. And with any of those classes, was it any ever kind of weights or resistance-based training, or was it more kind of cardio-based at that time?
Cardio.
And had you ever considered weights before, or did you have any kind of preconceived ideas about weights at that point?
Weights were for strong men.
And yeah, so never really considered it, never stepped in that area of the gym. It was more the classes.
Yeah. No.
And how about you, Mary? Similar story?
Well, we are both retired nurses. So to me, I got my exercise at work, meaning, but then I ended up in administration, and my exercise was basically getting in and out of the car to go to a different hospital. So
Okay.
it was like, no, I was tired by the time I got home. So I thought, it's not for me at all. And my daughter, who's a speech pathologist, said, Mom, you should go to the gym like I do. Well, you go ahead. I'm fine.
And was there any other attempts at the gym or anything along those lines, or did you just know
I went to yoga once, and that was like, oh my gosh, no, I can't relax and just do this. It was not my thing. So no.
And obviously, the reason you're both here is because that something has changed. When did that change happen? How long have you been training now?
Well, I'll start it. What happened to me was I retired 11 years ago, and I had a fall about 4 years ago, and hit my head and got a couple staples in my head, and I think my daughter said, I've got a friend. Her name is Betsy. She's a physical therapist, and she wants to start an exercise class for people over 55. And that may help you with your balance. So that got my attention. I thought, yeah, I probably do need something to help with my balance. so that that doesn't happen again, because I live alone. And so I called Linda and I said, Linda, what do you think of this idea? She goes, oh, well, it's like, well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to try it. We could go a couple times, and if we don't like it, we just duck out. So that's kind of how we started.
Here we are 3 years later.
Yeah.
Hmm. And what did you anticipate the class might be? Was it what you expected it to be, as it has actually turned out to be, or what were you thinking at the time when you first walked in?
When we first walked in, I mean, we were like the beginning of the class. We had really no expectations for it. Um, I, we didn't we didn't really do a whole lot of weight stuff in the beginning. Heck, I couldn't even hardly lift 5 pounds.
Yeah, it's true.
And I had just had pretty major back surgery not too long prior to that, so physically I couldn't do much of anything. But over time, Betsy showed me what to do, and I got stronger, and here I am today.
And we started slow,
Yes.
just baby steps, and which was smart looking back. And I just griped the whole time because I thought at least got a smile out of the class, because there was what, 7 or 8 of us to start,
Yep.
and we didn't know each other. We didn't, uh, so it was just kind of baby steps, but we kind of liked it. At least we had some socialization with it.
And looking back at those early classes, can you sort of remember roughly what you were doing in, say, those first 2 or 3 sessions?
Oh, to start with, we had bands and you had to stretch them along the wall. Well, now she's got us on the floor stretching as far as she can go.
And I remember that we had to get on the floor on our knees. I've had both my knees replaced, and
Yeah.
I could not get on my knees. I said, I can't do it. So she's okay. Then we adapted something, and so now I get on my knees. Uh, we had to like put a ball over our shoulder and drop it on the floor. What I couldn't bend over that well, so she had a box that I dropped it on so that I didn't have to bend over that far to get it. I mean, she just made all kinds of adaptations. If you can't do something, then we'll do something that you can do. And pretty soon, we'll change it a little bit more so that, you can do it. And I remember one day there was one exercise. I was so proud of myself when I did it. I just couldn't wait to tell everybody I did it. I mean, it sounds really silly, but
And which exercise was that? Can you remember?
oh yes, you have this giant ball and you sit on it and
Mhm.
take your feet and walk out so that you're flat and your shoulders and your neck are on this ball, and
Yep.
then drop your hips down and raise them up. Yep, you understand what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. Yeah. It takes a lot of balance that to keep the ball from rolling to the side.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's felt like a big sense of achievement. And
I was so proud.
can you remember the others in the class? Were they all new to the class at the same time as you, or had they been going for a while?
The class just started when we did. We were the beginners.
And how many of you are still in the class?
4.
So from 7 down to 4, is it?
Yeah. Well, no, there's 10 in our class now, but the original,
Oh, I see.
there's
Yeah.
4 left.
I know a lot of people who I've worked with because I run classes as well, they don't like the idea they're going to step straight into a class. They would much rather have done the one-to-one first, and are a bit daunted by the group environment of the class. Is that something you were concerned about or daunted by, or did you quite relish the idea?
No,
No.
if I didn't have the class I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was up to me to go to the gym, twice a week, I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
But now I made a commitment, and these people in the class and Betsy hold you to it. So yeah,
And now we all care about each other.
yeah,
Um, there was a time that Mary was not able to be there for 9 months,
mhm.
and every and I'm surprised that I continued to go all that time, all by myself, believe it or not. And everybody asked every week, "How's Mary doing?" And so it's really a camaraderie now.
Yes.
And how did you feel not being able to go?
She would.
Oh, yeah. Well, my journey started was, um, first of all, I had a routine mammogram that showed cancer. So I had treatment for that through July. And then they discovered I had three arteries in my heart that were occluded. So I had to have open heart surgery. And if that wasn't bad enough, then I had a nick carotid that had cholesterol in it. So it had to be cleaned out too. That was a heck of a 9 months. So I had been through the ringer, and I thought, okay, now what am I going to do? Just sit here and feel sorry for myself and not care, or you're going to get up and not give up. So I went back to class and surprised them all.
I
And
wasn't going to let her sit home and not care. By gosh, if I was going, she was going.
yeah, it's true. So we got back in there, and I'm really glad I did. My balance and outlook, and well, yesterday I lifted 50 pounds and carried it 10 steps. So that's pretty remarkable for me.
Because how long had you been going to the class before you needed the 9 month break?
A, a year,
Yeah.
about a year.
So you then been back just over a year again
Yes.
since returning back, yeah. I mean, with everything that had went on then, how were you feeling about going back? Were you nervous about doing exercise again? Because I know a lot of people who might have had any heart issues feel really nervous, particularly around resistance training. Is that a fear you had, or was that actually felt reassured knowing Betsy was in control?
Yes, I felt reassured with Betsy and Luke. He's the other trainer. And I needed to build up my strength. I sat around after all this, and it's like you need to do some physical activity also. I went through cardiac rehab, but so I got my cardio, but didn't really do any of the lifting or other things like that. So yes,
She was not, I mean, I've seen people who turned into the cardiac cripples, like
yeah,
like you were referring to. She did not have any of those symptoms at all.
Just very determined straight away.
Yes.
Yeah. And were there any particular challenges getting back into it that you remember?
okay. Since I had open heart surgery, I had to be careful of my chest. So Linda and I have to throw a ball, an 8 pound ball to each other, and I'm very guarded that way. And she is guarded also. So I just kind of protect that piece of it. And I can't get down on the ground and back up like I used to. So
Mhm.
that's a challenge for me.
And then, Linda, you've mentioned so both knee replacements and some back surgery. And when you were getting started, were there any? You mentioned the kneeling on the floor already. Was there any other sort of challenges that you really faced?
Well, I've had both shoulders replaced also, but
Oh well.
my back, it's right like, well, from T11 all the way down to the bottom of my spine is fused, so I don't bend at all. Um,
Hmm.
when I get down on the floor, I just can't bend and get up. I have to roll over, you know. Um, I can.
But she can lift. I mean, for all the orthopedic things you've had, Linda, you can lift. I mean, a lot.
Amazing. And we'll come on to how much in a second. But going back again, same kind of thing as I was saying to Mary there. Right? A lot of people with those many orthopedic surgeries, so the knee replacements, shoulder replacements, major spinal fusion. I know a lot of people are terrified to move, and particularly trying to lift anything with any weight to it. I mean, was that a concern you had? Were you nervous walking into the classes?
Well, I didn't know that it was going to be a major strength class, number one. But Mary was there, so I could I could yell at her if I needed to.
Yeah.
But after we got started, I felt reassured that Luke and Betsy were there, and even the smallest weights that I could do gave me hope. Um, I'm kind of a caregiver at home, so I needed to be able to do things. So I wanted to be able to do more things. I don't like um, having to rely on others to do things for me.
So again, very independent, determined, motivated to want to make those positive changes, and were confident with the support you had from Betsy to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, let's come on to it now. Then, you mentioned or hinted how much weight you're lifting. What kind of weight are you lifting for some of the lifts? So maybe the squats, or I'll let you explain.
90.
So that's 90 pounds,
Yes.
which is amazing. Is that with a bar on the back, or how are you doing those?
90 when you carry the dumbbells and
Yeah.
for the what do you call it, this on the dumbbell where you lift the bar.
So the big barbell, and then the deadlifts.
Um,
I think it is a bar.
Is it where you're doing it from the floor
yeah, that's only
and up into standing and back down again?
Yes.
that's only 80.
Oh,
Only 80.
Yeah.
That's still amazing.
that's a lot.
Well,
It doesn't sound like much, but it is a
Yeah.
lot.
Definitely. From not having had any experience with any sort of formal exercise in the past, to have both knees replaced, spinal surgery, and the shoulder surgeries, to be able to then do exercises with 80, 90 pounds, and I'm sort of converting that into, we're kilograms in the UK, so that's generally about half, so it's probably about 40, 45 kilos or kilograms. Hey, don't just say, put yourself down and say only 80. That's amazing. Yeah.
thank you.
Would you ever, those first few classes, would you ever have kind of guessed or even had any idea that you would be heading towards that direction?
Oh no. No.
I suppose it just sounds like it was a slow evolution to get to that point.
Yes.
And then how about you, Mary? How are you getting on again now you've restarted?
Oh, my balance has definitely improved.
Yeah.
I noticed that. And I can walk up a flight and a half of steps without holding on to the rail. And I haven't been able to do that for 6 years probably. So it's gradual. And I didn't think I'd be able to do that ever. I just hold on to the rail. But it's something you want to do, but you don't think you can. And we didn't want to really get into exercise like this. We were reluctant. So for us to be able to do these kind of activities is amazing to us.
It wasn't during the interview with Betsy. It's after I spoke to her after I'd finished recording, and she told me how excited you were to tell her that you'd been able to walk up the stairs without holding the banister or holding the rail. And I could see the excitement in her eyes on how proud she was of you for being able to do that as well. I know it doesn't sound like a lot to some people, but like you say, that is huge to free up both your hands to be able to walk up the stairs and potentially carry things and particularly with the history of falls.
Exactly. And when you go to the grocery store, she always gives you examples. Now, you got to do this exercise because then you can lift this. Or if you have to get something off the top shelf, you can reach and do this. And she makes us like slam our feet on the floor. We jump, 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 jump. Well, okay, fine. What is that for?
Try.
Yeah. What is that for? And agility, being able to not be 80 years old.
Bone strength.
And bone strength, yes. And muscle mass. We both gained muscle mass, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. And yeah, the impact side of things is something that I've not often talked about on the podcast much, but it's and Betsy talked about it in depth a few weeks ago when I had her on, and yeah, she said people lose that ability to jump and hop, and it's not just about being strong; it's how quickly you can access that strength. And if you stub your toe or you trip on something, to be able to get that foot quickly back in front of you and then absorb your body weight very quickly. It's because I meant to ask, have you had any more falls at
No,
all since starting the classes?
no.
Oh, I did one. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Luke said I had my hand over too far on the bar. I was lifting. It just happened. I don't know.
No injuries
No, I was
from
fine,
no. Perfect.
except for my pride.
Yeah,
But outside the gym, there's been no falls or
No.
brilliant. And do you feel, if you've mentioned a few things there in terms of being able to walk up and down the stairs and without holding the rail and things like that. But in general, is there any other specifics you've noticed for either of you of benefits outside the gym, that things that feel a lot easier than they used to now?
I think basically bringing groceries home, which is just silly, but for me that was a big accomplishment. And I used to have to make several trips back to the car and into the house and back and forth. And now I just carry them in.
Mhm.
Don't even think about it. My balance is better. I've doing yard work. I get out and um, trim the bushes and pick up. Getting down to pick up sounds really silly too, but it takes a lot of strength to be able to do that. And this is for You're Never Too Old to Lift podcast, and it's the truth. You just have to keep at it, taking small steps and keep progressing. Never give up. That's my message. Never give up.
Love it. Yeah, but you're right there. We talked about jumping being a skill that people lose. The ability to get on and off the floor again is one I see all the time. Is people, it's their one of their first goals they want to achieve is to be able to get on and off the floor without minimal use of their hands, because people don't realize they can't do it anymore and they assume they can, but they often don't want to test that theory either. One, because they might get stuck on the floor, or two, they feel like they're going to embarrass themselves by trying it in front of someone else, so they never try it. And then the first time they need to do it is when they've fallen, and often they can't get back up again and then need to wait for someone to come and help them. And so practicing just the act of getting on off the floor is huge. So yeah, it's, again, to some people, like you say, it does sound a small achievement or a small win, but actually it's huge for a lot of people to be able to do that. So that's brilliant. And then how about you, Linda? Is there anything that you've noticed kind of outside the gym that's really been sort of stood out as a positive that you've felt?
Just trying to vacuum before, I could maybe do 5 minutes and then I had to sit down. It was an impossible feat. Anything around the house, and I frequently have to lift my husband, but I it was impossible. Now I can do it with ease. It's much easier on him and me.
Mhm.
So that's probably the basics, the main thing that's so much easier. Um,
And with the vacuuming, was it shortness of breath? Was it sort of fatigue or just weakness of carrying or moving it around?
Fatigue, my from having my back fused, I just I would get so tired, you know. I it just was something that was it was just so hard to do. And now I can do it. I could do it all day if I had to. Thank heavens I don't have to. You know,
That's
Yeah,
true.
amazing. And I wanted to go back a little bit in those early stages again. What did your friends and family think of you sort of decision to suddenly start going to a gym class? Were they all supportive? Did they have concerns? Were they confused? Yeah, I'll start with you, Linda.
well, I have a son and a daughter-in-law in Colorado that are exercise freaks. They could not have been any happier. My daughter-in-law is a nurse practitioner. She knows all of the thing. They have exercise stuff in their home. They do triathlons all the time. I'm telling you, they oh, they are so excited that I've done this and stayed with it. I tell you, every time they see me, they have to say positive things, and you know, they are so excited.
And they've seen the difference.
Definitely.
And then how about you, Mary? Everyone supportive on your side?
Oh my gosh, they can't believe it. It's like I have a son and a daughter, and their families are both in Kansas. And then I have a daughter here in Omaha, Nebraska, that lives in town here. So they, and my son particularly, I gripe a lot. He calls me every day, and I gripe a lot on Tuesday and Thursday because I got to get ready for exercise. So I can't talk very long. And he says, Mom, I'm so glad you're going. Your colors changed, your attitudes changed, you can do more and keep it up, keep going. And of course, my daughter does yoga. She's the one here in Omaha that does yoga, and she's very, very supportive, as well as Megan and the other one in Kansas City. They just can't believe I'm doing it, which is I can't believe it either.
Yeah.
Were there any sort of more negative people that thought you were doing too much, risk causing any, worried about you causing any harm, or
No, not
No.
it. No, no, get out and do more.
Yeah.
because I think that things are changing now, but in the past, a lot of people, yeah, particularly with you, Linda, with all those different surgeries, and actually with you, Mary, with the heart issues there, would say, "What are you doing? You need to take it easy. You need to sit down
Right,
and relax." And I think there's a lot of people that will, if there's enough people saying that to them, they'll listen to that and
Sure.
be fear. They'll the fear is contagious, and unfortunately, it's a person that's at the end of it that then becomes less mobile, less healthy, more health concerns.
you
So,
got a good point, Chris. That is true. That was our age, that
Yeah.
you just got to take it easy. And if you had open heart surgery, I mean, you were in there for a couple weeks. I mean, it's not like that at all anymore.
Yeah.
It's you're what 3 days, I think it was in the hospital, and then went to my daughter's extended care rehab facility for that recovery. So you're right. Good point. And now we included our like I don't want to just sit. I don't. I want to do something.
how have you found that the new people in the class of they're finding it? Are they? Is most people who come tend to stick around for quite a while?
Yes. And you know what? Like Linda said, we all support each other, and it is a means of socialization
Yeah.
for us because these people are we can do this, we can do it, let's go, and you're like, oh my gosh, again, because you have to lift to till the point where you think you can't lift anymore. I mean, that's how heavy she wants us to go, and she'll tell
Hmm.
us like do five or 6 of these and then 10 of these. And so she keeps us busy, but everybody supports each other. Good job. Good job, Linda. That kind of stuff is constantly going on. So if you can find a class or a support group like this, and Betsy and Luke encourage that, you're do it, do it.
I don't think that they would even, I mean, I don't know what they would do, but they just don't support negative Nellies, you know?
Like you say, the class setting is brilliant, and as I said before, I run a couple of over 60 strength classes in my clinic too, and I wonder if this resonates with you. I've got a couple in there that they live quite close to each other, so they now share lifts to come to the classes, and they both agree that before the morning of the class, they're both thinking, "Oh, have I really got to go? I don't want to go." And then because they're sharing the lift and they've got that accountability to each other, they both come and they walk out with a smile on their face, really thankful that they came, and always feel better for it, and they never regret it. Is that something you see as well?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's England and America. Yeah, same thing.
I always say to people, it doesn't necessarily have to be fun. If people have never been interested in regular exercise and structured exercise in the past, it's not going to be suddenly their new, that really enjoyable thing. But like I say, you never regret it afterwards, and it's going to allow you to do all the things you really do want to do.
But you can make it fun if you change your attitude. And that's really the truth, because it can be. And Betsy does a great job. And Luke.
But I'm not going to say there's not days I walk out of there and saying, oh my gosh, they're trying to kill us.
So obviously we mentioned one tip there is if you can find a class, the class setting in your eyes is superior to kind of the one-on-one or just joining a gym and hoping you turn up and do it.
Right.
Is there any other advice that you'd have to someone who might be listening to this who's sort of inspired by your story and is thinking about taking that first step? Is there anything else you'd want to say to them to try and encourage them in the right direction?
Just try it. Don't sit at home and think, oh, maybe I might like it or maybe I wouldn't. Just try it. Because if you don't like it, then you can quit. But if you don't go, you'll never know.
And I would suggest taking small steps. You don't have to go in with the idea, I'm going to lift 90 pounds the first day. And you're working for your organs, not your abs. That's Luke saying. And so take small baby steps and don't give up. Just don't. You'll feel better. I mean, I can't believe I'm going to be 80 in January. And in my era, if you made it to 65, you were doing good. So you just got to keep at it and don't give up.
Betsy talked about it a lot a few weeks ago, and you mentioned at the start the different adaptations and modifications that needed to be made to make it manageable for both of you. And a lot of people fail because they try and follow the one size fits all program that they found that's designed for a 20 or 30 year olds. And that first step is just way too big, and they'll always fail trying to climb up a big step.
Well, and it's intimidating. You're right, Chris, to go into a gym. It's intimidating to see all these young kids lifting and doing all this, and they got the big bodies, and it's just, this is for people 55 plus. So that's, I think, another good factor for our group.
And and then there's people that do something, but they often join a sitting class where they've got some pink, must be, we call them, £1, £2 dumbbells, and doing some exercises and waving them around, and they're way too easy. And they think they're getting stronger because, and we've been told through society, and even for me, finding stock photos for when I put the blog or making YouTube thumbnails and things, and you try and get someone who is 60, 70, 80 lifting weights, you'll always get loads of pictures of them holding a pink pair of the 1 pound dumbbells, and it's so hard to find someone who is lifting 80 pounds on a bar from the floor. And like you've talked about before, the intensity is so important, and you're pushing the muscles to fatigue and pushing to failure to get stronger. And it's amazing that Betsy's got you doing that, and you've seen the benefits from that.
Yeah.
Congratulate yourself. Just you did it, and you got through this class. You can do it again. So take baby steps.
Yeah.
It's back to that baby steps, and it's not rushing to get to that point. It's taking as much time as you need to progress. But
That's true. That is a good point, Chris.
as long as you know we do need to progress at some point. And brilliant. And are there any other kind of sporting activities or hobbies that you've thought, well, with the weights and the resistance in the gym, if you'd never considered yourself a gym person before, and now you realize, actually, I am a gym person, I can be a gym person. Is there anything else that you've thought or been tempted to take on board as a new challenge?
I'm kind of limited with all of my fake parts.
And I'm not into sports, but I do chase the grandkids around now and then.
Yeah.
So, then you can say what you want, but they got a lot of energy. So it is a challenge, but I try to keep up.
And I had someone on the podcast recently, Kim, who said that she was thrilled that she could get on a trampoline with her grandchildren and be present with them. And there's some big things like that. And like I say, having the energy and the strength to look after grandchildren is huge.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I think we've covered everything that I wanted to cover there. Is there anything else that you sort of wanted to say, or like I say, wanted to say to anyone listening to try and encourage them any further?
No, I was really nervous about this podcast and what I was going to say, but you've made it easy, Chris.
Yeah.
And wish everybody the best, and just keep trying.
If you can do it with a friend, it makes it easier.
That's true.
But you'll make friends in a class too.
Yep.
So find yourself a Mary. Find yourself someone who's going to convince you that you're going to have to go.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I can't thank you enough for giving up your time for coming on and for sharing with everyone. And like I say, I think this has been really inspiring for a lot of people to hear the different complaints each of you had and the different restrictions, and to kind of put those to one side and to make the progress that both of you have made, and say not to have had the falls anymore, and to be able to lift 80 kilos and walk up the stairs and get up off the floor from the starting points you both had is really inspiring. And I really hope that anyone listening is convinced to at least give it a go and just take their first few classes, first few sessions in the gym, and work from there. So if anyone is watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below and leave a little message for both Linda and Mary, and let us know what you've done to take action from this. But for now, I will let you guys go for the rest of your day, and I will be in touch shortly. And thank you again.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Good luck, everybody.
That was fantastic. I can't thank Mary, Linda enough for coming on and sharing their story with us in such detail. I'm really hoping that if you have any kind of medical condition or any kind of injury that has been making you doubt whether strength training is the right thing or not, that this proves that your starting point doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you can't get started. Clearly, it matters in some sense in terms of it's going to make things more challenging. But you can make adaptations, you can take small steps forward, and you can make some fantastic progress, as Mary and Linda have both seen. And it's made such a dramatic impact on their life that I'd hate for you to miss out by not taking action. So please use this story as a way of feeling inspired enough to take those first few steps. Now, if you need help with those first few steps, I do have a free ebook that you can download that will guide you through how you create your first strength training program and then how you then pick the exercise for it and then get going with it, but modifying things as you need to around any pains or your ability level. So you can find that by going to nevertoldtolift.com/ebook. If you have got any words of encouragement or support, you want to sort of share your appreciation to Mary and Linda, then please do leave a comment below if you're watching this on YouTube. Or if you're listening to this on audio, then you can either jump over to YouTube and leave a comment there, or you can send me a message or email. It's chris@nevertoldtolift.com, and I'll be sure to pass that on to them. But for now, I will see you in next Wednesday's episode.